Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another exciting design tutorial with UX Mate. In this video, we are going to explore user persona and its basic building blocks, how to create a user persona from scratch and for very beginner level. And we would be covering so if you see user persona, it could have a lot of things when you go into much deep dive, but we would be covering the basic or at least bare minimum things which our user persona should have. What is the user persona? So user persona is nothing but a documentation which we generally refer in the UX design to mock our users, because we cannot always go and talk to the real time users or real life users. So what do we do is we create certain assumptions, we do certain user research, we do ask questions, we do conduct user interviews, and based on whatever research data we have, or we try to mimic a user persona which our application is going to be catering, or for whom we are going to provide the services or the designing the product or designing the experience for. So what should a user persona have? Generally user persona should have a photograph. Doesn't matter why. Yes, because why should we have a photograph? Because it gives us a feeling, okay, generally how does your user looks. Okay, so if we see, like, we can divide it into two sections, you can say. One is basic info and other one is personal details. So in basic info, what we can have is we can have a user photo, right? It could be anything, like any avatar, or you can be fancy with this, or you can pick or you can put photographs of real life users as well. It depends how do you want to streamline your persona. Then apart from the photo, you should at least have name, okay, role, and then age. We can also include occupation. We can also include locality or location of the user, you can say. To get start with, these should be like bare minimum things which you should have in your persona. So you can have any name for your user, right? So let's say John Doe. Oops, yep, no worries. Then role plays very important role in the persona, because your role is going to define what are the privileges your persona is going to have. So let's say my user is going to be an admin, or is it going to be a teacher, or is going to be a student, or it depends, like for which application you are for which application, or what are the different roles your application caters to. It depends upon what are the privileges your user is going to have with this particular role. Age is again one of the very important factor in the persona. Why it is important? Because depending upon the age of the person, you can determine how you would be designing the UI elements of your application, or how you would be basically defining the font sizes, color combinations, color themes. Everything is dependent upon the age, because if your users are teenage, or somewhere around kids, then you'd be having more fluorescent or more stylish or funky colors which attract those kind of age group. When we say our user is somewhere around 30s, then probably the color choice they have, probably the font size they have, the their knowledge about the technology, that might be different at this particular point of time in the age. When the user is near about like 60s or 70s, like 60 years or 70, or like you can say somewhere between like 55 years old or 65 years old, in that case your user is going to be more towards the like old age group. In that case, we should have the, like, we should consider the accessibility perspective. We should also consider, okay, if that person is like around 55 or 60 years old, probably when he started his life, like the technology was not that much invented as it is now. So they might be using those old school traditional phones where you don't have any touch screen interface. You'd be dialing your numbers using your fingers, and then probably they wouldn't even be using the keyboard or computers. They would have been using typewriters, or maybe even before that, like typewriter, they used to create notes using the pen paper itself. So it depends upon the age, based upon the number. You can determine which type of design, which type of color scheme, which type of font style you would be using, right? So let's give something around 18 years. Let's see, let's say the occupation. How does occupation matters in the persona? Your occupation is going to basically help you to determine how much your user is going to earn per year or per month, or why the earning is important, why the occupation is important. Based upon the occupation, you can determine, okay, let's say user is a carpenter, right? So he would be more interested in the products, or things which are related to his career. Let's say user is tech savvy, or he's a computer engineer. In that case, he would be more interested towards the digital products, or more interested towards the product which are more developed with use of a lot of technology in it, like a kind of sensors. You can see like those vacuum bots, where like a lot of sensors have been included in the product itself, and it is more kind of fancy stuff. If your user is, let's say, artist, then he would be interested in uh, you know uh, like generally different forms of art. So it depends upon, like, in which type of artist he is. If he is a classical vocalist, he would be more interested in the classical music genre. He would be more interested in the mics. He would be more interested in the instruments, or nature, something like that. So your occupation is also going to play a major role. So that's why we should at least have our occupation, and depending upon the occupation, we may probably try to guess what could be their earnings, or we can also try to include earnings as well in the persona. So earnings, or like how much they earn per year or per month, it is very important factor. If your application is going to be a paid, or it is going to have in-app purchase items, or your product is what should be the cost range of your product, like the affordability of the product. Because if you see, based upon the values of the user, and the earning sources of the user, same product may give different experience to different user personas, right? And then location, the geographical location of the user, that is also going to play a major role in the persona, because the geographical location is going to determine what would be his likes, his choices, what would be his life schedule, or like on what type, like what would be his timings in the day. Then his location might also help us to determine what are the what are the areas near his home, or his office, or what could be his way, like from home to office, and what are the different opportunities we can find during or on that particular location. Let's say if user is staying in Mumbai, or more specifically, let's say Koperkherna in the Mumbai, then, or Washi in the Mumbai, or New Mumbai. So probably when, let's say, your application is on the on a cloud kitchen base, or let's say like some sort of, let's say, or Zomato or Swiggy kind of application, where you would be delivering food to your user. So you need to understand the location of the user, and based upon the location of the user, you can definitely make certain changes in your design. And location also plays an important role in deciding the colors as well, because depending upon the area or the region they live, they might be preferring different colors, right? Location is one of the important factor in user persona. Now we can try to have a little bit biographical information of the user. We don't need much detail of it. Probably one or two paragraph two would be I guess too much, but we can say 1 or 1.5 paragraph kind of thing, where we'd be having basic details or basic information about our user, like basically what he likes, where does he belongs to, or like whatever we have filled in up here in the name, role, age, occupation, location. We can try to put in his day-to-day journey of his life cycle. So basically it helps us to when we go to the problem statements of the user, when we go to the solutions of the problem statements which we are looking for, then probably we can refer this information, which will help us to take certain decisions in our design. That's why this is kind of also one of the important factor. uh, Sorry, bio, yes. Having the bio of your user, and then you can also try to put in his social media links, or some sort of links which will help us to know, or which will help us to give more insights about the user, right? So you can have more links here. I guess that should be more than enough on the basic information kind of thing. Probably what we can do is, like, we can segregate this section more further into personality. So your user's personality is also going to help you to take certain decisions in the design, like based upon the personality of the user. Is it like, is your user is masculine or feminine, or is it introvert or extrovert? Does your person is analytical, or he's a creative? Does your user is busy, or he has a lot of time to spend on? So based upon those different aspects of the personality, you can choose, like, is your user is more active, or more lazy kind of thing? Is he he or she is independent, or is it a team player? So is your user is more on the safer side, or he likes to take risks in the life? Based upon these details about the personality of your user is going to definitely help you to decide your designs, and the and decide, and to make decisions in your design. So in that case, your designs will be, or your product will be more loved by the user, because it is catering to the basic needs, wants, and likes of the user. And it is more related to their personality, what they like to use, what they like to have with them. So that's what a persona is going to play a major role to design the products which are going to be loved by the people. So we can say these are the personality details, where you can probably have some sliders, like let's say, is it introvert or is it extrovert? Don't worry guys, I'm definitely going to give you Figma templates for user persona, what generally I do use. A basic template, you can definitely redefine them or redesign them based on your project needs, but I've definitely give you a template to download in the description. uh, we can say like time availability, if he's busy, or he is more towards time reach. Let's say we can say, okay, he's more towards the time reach kind of thing. So based upon these things, you can take decisions like, okay, my person has or my user has a lot of time to spend, so I can make my product more entertaining because he can spend that much amount of time. But let's say if my user is more on the business oriented perspective, and he don't have enough time to spend on your application, what you can do, probably, okay, he might need to understand like a schedule for the day in couple of minutes, or maybe let's say he's entering in the lift and he would be reaching to 6th or 7th floor. He would be having around 1 minute of travel time in the lift, and he would like to get details about his schedule in a glance itself. So based upon those minor details of your user persona, you can make those decisions, design decisions specifically in your product. And if you take those decisions precisely with the help of this data, this persona, definitely your products are going to be liked by the people or by the user, because it is definitely going to give them a positive experience. Again, user experience is kind of very choosy kind of thing, where like the same product or same application may not give same experience to all of the user. It depends upon their interests and influences, needs, like a lot of things. So that's why what we are going to do, we are going to take a third aspect of the user persona, where we would be going more deep into the personal details of the user. So personal details as in we don't need any of his family details or anything. But what would be more interested upon is like let's say we can say interest of the users. So what you can do, you can have those different blocks on your paper, and then you can create one block for each category, which we are going to discuss in this video. And then you can let's say interest, you can put in as an exercise 3 or 4 interests of your user. Okay, you can try to put in 3 or 4. Don't go much crazy, like go at least 4 or 5 is huge, like, or I would say 3 to get started with, because we want to be specific. So we can say let's say we would be just going with the 3 interests of the user. Okay, then we would be seeing influence. So what is influencing your user? Again, we would be going for the 3 influences or 3 things which are influencing your user. So go ahead and try to figure out those details about your user, and then you would be able to create a persona. Then what we can do, we can figure out goals of the user. Those goals could be short term as well as long term goals. So you need to be very careful about the goals, like or like let's say we can cater 3 or 4 goals, where 2 could be short term and 2 could be long term goals, because goals is like, again, those should be realistic. You should not say, okay, I want to be billionaire. That is not going to possible. Like, that is definitely it is going to happen, but it is not going to happen in a day or 2, right? You need to spend at least some amount of time, and you need to do that much of efforts to be a billionaire. But yes, definitely you need to be conscious while choosing the goals, or while writing the goals of your user. It should not be based upon like completely on the assumptions. You can do research, you can connect with your users, you can ask them, you can if let's say if you are getting started with something and you don't have your users with you, what you can do, you can assume one of your friend as your user, and you can start asking those questions to your friend, where you would be treating them as users, because they would be it would be helping you to practice those UX things in your day-to-day life, and you would be easily understanding like how you can create a persona, and then once your persona is ready, how you can take further decisions based upon your persona. So let's say you would be writing 2 or like 3 or 4 goals of the user, like 2 could be short term and 2 could be long term. Then we can ask about needs and expectations of the user. So what they basically expect from our product, and what are their core needs. Because if user is not needy, he will not prefer, he would be bored in some amount of time. Like, he would be using your application or your product for a month, for a week, for a day maybe, if he is not interested at all, or if he don't need it at all. So we need to understand what are the needs of the user. I might have used NWL, or need, wants, and likes in this tutorial itself. So what is this NWL framework? NWL is like N stands for needs, W is for wants, and L is for likes. So you need to understand what are the needs of your user, what are the wants of your user, and what are the likes of your user. If you know all these 3 parameters about your user, you would be easily try to categorize the features which are you are planning about your product. So what features my product should have, what features my application or my digital product should have, or my physical product should have. Based upon the needs of the user, you can prioritize the features based upon the needs is something you should definitely have in the day one. Wants is which is user wants to have something. It could be there, it could be within their needs, it could be outside their needs, but it's something they want it. Okay, then we can cater about wants. And third is likes. you can put likes on the third priority, because likes is, they like to have it. It is not necessary they need it. It is not something they want it, but it is something they like to have in their video, in their product. So you can, based upon this NWL framework, you can determine what are the needs, what are the wants, and what are the likes of your user. And apart from that, what we are going to do, we are going to also understand what are the exceptions of your user, right? Once we understand needs and exceptions, need and not exceptions but expectations, my bad. But when we understand needs and expectations of your user, it would be easy to fulfill those expectations and those needs, because you know what exactly they need and what exactly they are expecting from you. If you know it, then it would be, easy for you to fulfill those expectations, and that too within the time, right? So you can try to write like 3 needs or 3 expectations, or you can, try to write a need and expectation against that need, or in the same block, you can say. And then what else we would be needing? We would be needing motivations. Okay, motivations of the user. So what are the motivations they have, why they are doing something? If you understand this why is definitely going to help you a lot in making any decisions in your life, no matter if it is about the user experience, no matter if it is about your personal decision in the life. If you understand why, you'd be able to do anything. If you understand why you are doing something, okay, let's say somebody asks you to do travel. Why someone is asking you to travel, or why you are doing something? Let's say you want to switch your career from UI design to UX design. Why do you want to do it? Let's say if you want to become a YouTuber, why do you want to become a YouTuber? If you try to understand this why, like whatever you are doing, you need to understand why I am doing something. If you understand why, then you can change your what and how accordingly. But if you don't know why, you're not able to determine what you have to do and how you have to do. So that's why those motivations, or why user is willing to do something, or why they would be using your product, those motivations, or what is going to motivate the user, we need to figure out those motivations of the user. And if you figure out the motivations of the user, you will easily able to pick up those motivations and cater your design or cater your product around those motivations, where it will keep motivated user to use your products, right? And then and then last but not least, what are the pain points they are having, or what are the frustrations they are having, right? Pain points and frustration. Again, we can go like literally crazy on this, but I would not recommend to go crazy on this as well on the day one. I would suggest to go ahead and find at least 3 pain points or frustrations of the user. What are the problems they are facing in so what we can do, we can figure out their goals, and then we can connect the pain points, or let me use some other color here. So what you can do, you can take their goals, and you can try to figure out what are the pain points they are having during achieving their goals. That is why each and every aspect here is important, because everything is interconnected, as everything belongs to John Doe, right? As everything belongs to one user, or your group of users. If you figure out what is your user persona, if you try to go into more details on day one, definitely you would be not able to fill in everything here. But if you try doing some research with the users, asking questions to the user, and if you try to figure out what exact things my user is having, my users are going to have, and if you create that persona, definitely it is going to help you to make awesome products. So what I would suggest, practice this. Definitely I'd be putting the Figma template in the description. Go ahead and download that template, or you can create your own based upon this slide, like very quick thing, though it is dirty, but I guess it should be you should be able to understand what are the things we are saying here. If you're not understanding in first attempt, go ahead, slow down the speed of the video, go ahead, watch it again and again, at least 2 to 3 times before doing actual paperwork, and then go ahead and jump into the paper, right? Because if you don't understand how to create these stuff, or I would say what are these different elements we are catering in our user persona, you will not able to create those personas easily. So first of all, you need to understand what are different elements, why I am putting each and everything in my persona. Why do I need bio? Why do I need name? Why do I need role? Why do I need age of the user? Why do I need interests of the user? Why I need influences of the user? What are their goals and why do I need them? Why do I need users' expectations and their needs? What are their motivations? How it is going to help me? Why I need someone's motivations? Why I need pain points and frustrations of the user. If you understand why about each and everything, you would be able to do how and what. So if you understand why I'm doing something, you will easily figure out okay what I have to do, and you will easily figure out how I have to do. If you figure out how and what, then you would easily figure out when you have to do, right? So everything is connected with why. So let me just clear this thing here and draw a why circle here. Okay, why, then why is connected with what, it is connected with how, it is connected with when, right? So everything is like why is our center thing, and if you understood why, you would easily able to create this complete circle, what, how, when. Or you can further add more layers to this. You can consider these two as a primary layers. Why is your core layer, and what, how, when are going to be your secondary layers in your journey. And I'd again say, like, it is not necessarily in the user experience itself, but it is required in the each and every aspect of your life while making each and every decisions in your life. It is definitely going to help you to take the proper decisions in the life as well. If you know why I'm taking this decision, you would easily figure out, okay, is it going to be a good decision, is it going to be a bad decision, and if I'm taking this decision, what I have to do, how I have to do, when I have to do. So that's why I'm that's why I'm always keep you telling, subscribe to this channel. And if you know why you are subscribing, you will easily subscribe it right now. Because why you are subscribed into this channel, or why you are pressing that bell icon, because you would be getting more awesome design tutorials in the future. And if you want to and if you don't want to miss any of these, then that is the right opportunity. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and share this video. Thanks guys, thanks for watching this long video. I hope this is interested, or this is going to be helpful for you. Put your comments if you have ever created the personas, or what are the problems you are facing while creating the personas. Definitely we will go ahead and cater those things in our upcoming videos.